We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and we pay our respects to the elders past, present and future, for they hold the memories, the culture and dreams of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
On the 25th of April in 1915, Australian and New Zealand soldiers landed at Gallipoli. Anzac Day is a sign of respect for the Australian and New Zealand soldiers who served and died in all wars. It's a day where the community and relatives of former and present soldiers can remember and reflect on the heroism and tenacity of those who served to keep our country safe. For Australians, the image usually associated with the 25th of April is the soldiers who fought. However, nurses also played a vital role in attending to wounded and sick soldiers.
While our Anzacs lived in horrendous living conditions, and many endured diseases, their families laid awake worried if their loved ones would return home safely. Out of 60,000 Australians that fought at Gallipoli, there were 26,000 casualties and 7,594 people were killed. Anzac Day allows us to reflect upon the selfless sacrifice and be grateful for the life we live today. Learning about the war and history has given me a newfound respect for those who served in the war, not only soldiers, but nurses too. No matter how many stories I hear, photos I see, and videos I watch, I will never understand how hard it was for our Anzac and their families. However, I have always understood how important it is to remember those who sacrificed their lives for us so that we will be able to stand today.
Today is not about missing the Anzac holiday or how we decide to spend that day. It's more than that. This Anzac Day is the 105th anniversary of the landing of Australian and New Zealand troops at Gallipoli in 1915. It is the day on which we remember Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all wars conflicts and peacekeeping operations. The spirit of Anzac has human qualities of courage, mateship and sacrifice, which continue to have meaning and relevance to our sense of national identity. A former Governor-General of Australia, the Honourable Quinton Bryce, spoke at the dawn service at Port Moresby in 2013. She described our quest to understand the spirit of Anzac in these words. We remember the loved ones who fared well for them, ached for them, welcomed them home, cradled their damaged souls, lost them. The loved ones who, like us, like so many of us here, never got to see the fine grains of grit, courage and endurance, warmth, intelligence and humour in every living, dying, desperate daily scene. Yet we stand here today needing to know what it was like for them, needing to understand. Sometimes we tend to forget about these valiant men and women and how they suffered through many trials and afflictions, even death for our nation's cause. Let us not take this wonderful country that we live in for granted, and remember all those who honourably served and died for us.
They have forgotten him, need him no more. He who fought for his land in nearly every war. Tribal fights before his country was taken by Captain Cook. They went overseas to fight at Gallipoli and Tabuk. World War I, two black Anzacs were there. France, Europe's deserts, New Guinea's jungles did his share. Korea, Malaya, Vietnam again, black soldier enlisted. Fight for democracy was his duty, he insisted. Back home went his own way, not looking for praise, like when he was a warrior in the forgotten days. Down on the Gold Coast, a monument in the Bora Ring, recognition at last, his praises they are starting to sing. This black soldier who never marches on Anzac Day, lives in his gunya, doesn't have much to say. Thinks of his friends who fought, some returned, some died. If only one day they could march together side by side. His medals he keeps hidden away from prying eyes. No one knows, no one sees the tears in his old black eyes. He's been outcast, just left by himself to die. Recognition at last, black Anzacs, hold your head high. Every year at Gold Coast, Yugambeh Boris ringside, black Anzac in uniform and medals, a magnificent sight. The rock of Aboriginal tribal totems painting and set, the Commemorative people's inscription of lest we forget.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Today we recognise the people of this land, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who fought on the battlefield with Australian soldiers. Today we also recognise the tangata whenua o Aotearoa who bravely fought alongside New Zealand soldiers. Together our countries fight side by side, lest we forget.
With their hair a little wider, their steps not quite so sure. Still they march on proudly, as they did the year before. Theirs were the hands that saved us, their courage showed the way. Their lives they laid down for us, so that we may live today. From Gallipoli's rugged hillsides to the sands of Alamein, on rolling seas and in the skies, those memories will remain. Of airmen and the sailors, of Lone Pine and Silver Bay, the boys of the Dardanelles are remembered on this day.
They fought their way through jungles, their blood-soaked desert sands. They still remember comrades who rest in foreign lands. They remember the siege of Old Tobruk, the mud of the Kokoda Trail, some paying the supreme sacrifice with courage that did not fail. To the icy land of Korea, the steamy jungles of Vietnam, and the heroic battle of Kap Yong, and that epic victor at Long Tan. Fathers, sons and brothers, together they fought and died, that we may live in peace together, while at home their mothers cried. When that final bugle calls them to cross that great divide, those comrades will be waiting when they reach the other side.
I'd like to start by acknowledging our elders past, present and future, along with the significant role that our Indigenous Australians played in developing the Anzac legacy. Welcome to our Anzac Ceremony this morning. The 2020 Anzac ceremonies across the country will forever be tied to our current situation with COVID-19, and our school ceremony is no different. Thank you to our Humanities Department for their work in helping to ensure that we all have access to this morning's ceremony across our community. Can I start by saying how much we all miss our students' presence here at school? The change that we've experienced as a society over the last 5 weeks has been totally unexpected and a massive challenge for us all. But in the context of Anzac Day, we must be truly thankful for the peaceful nature of our current predicament and look for ways to take inspiration from our elders, our Anzacs, and those who've overcome adversity in the past. Anzac Day is one of the most important national days in our country, as it marks the anniversary of the first major military action fought by Australian and New Zealand forces during the First World War. Although the British planned attack at Gallipoli failed in its military objectives, the legacy of our Anzacs has helped to shape the identity of both Australia and New Zealand. One of the strongest legacies of the Anzacs is the concept of looking after your mate. Here at Marsden, we're in a privileged position where we don't have to go off to war. The closest we get is to hear sports people talk of going into battle, to hear about challenges and courage in situations that are not really life-threatening. The spirit of the Anzacs was built by young people making the ultimate sacrifice for our future success and privilege. Just because we're not faced with life and death situations does not mean that we can't demonstrate the spirit of the Anzacs. The opportunity to help your mates can be powerful in helping to shape people's futures. We've all had the chance to have a positive impact on those around us. We all have the opportunity to live the ideals of the Anzacs through programs like Mates Talk Change, to support each other to develop character and to become the future leaders of Logan. We can also show the spirit of the Anzacs in the way that we interact with others. Are we looking for the best of others? Are we making the most of whatever situation we're in and treating each other with the respect that we all deserve as we work towards a common goal? How are we taking these opportunities in the current environment? How are we supporting each other through the current restrictions and challenges in our interactions and our learning? We can all be mindful of the impact of our actions, and this morning I'd encourage you to consider how fortunate you are to be living in an Australian community built on the spirit of the Anzacs, and how you might play a role to help develop the community we all want to live in the future. Make sure you're making the most of this time to continue to get better and to be ready. Focus on your development of body, mind and character to demonstrate your pride, passion and persistence as you continue to live the ideals of the Anzacs. Thank you.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
in Flanders fields where poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow.
Loved and beloved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.